What's up, metal and heavy music fans? It's Flight of Icarus again with MetalTrenches.com, and it's that time again for me to check out your latest requests and recommendations for underground metal albums on Bandcamp. And hey, if you like to be kept up to date with the best and brightest metal bands and albums from the underground and above, then stick with me by hitting that subscribe button down below. Alright, once again, let's just kick things off with Sense Offender and They Live, We Sleep. This is their latest split. And if you dig yourself some hardcore, grindcore, they're also kind of mixed in with the mathcore scene a little bit. Not as much of that in their sound, but just very aggressive, noisy, intense music. From Profanity recordings, like you can hear that, that bass. No. Just love the chaotic guitars, those like wailing right there. Love that. That's where they win over those kind of mathcore fans. Yeah, I'd say if you like stuff like Botch, it's kind of a fair comparison. But they do get, pretty intense. Lots of great D beats. Sometimes they'll slow things down a little bit too for a longer track. You got this 5-minute track here, but it's never for long. Just lots of really intense, hard-hitting stuff. Cool little vocal break there. But yeah, they each do 3 songs. So this is kind of the Sense Offender side. This is one of my favorites on here, is Feeding Tubes. Just a lot of those like cyclical kind of sounding riffs. And then They Live, We Sleep. Also just killing it. They're a good pairing, because they both have kind of a similar sound. It's not D-beats. Like, they have some slight variations in their vocals and kind of the guitar sounds, but overall they have a very similar approach, so they end up making for a really good kind of, split, putting them together on here. Because they fit, and it makes it sound kind of like a consistent full release, but you get some little subtle differences between the two of them. Man, love it. So yeah, check out Sense Offender and They Live, We Sleep with their split through Trepanation recordings. Alright, next up we've got Paul Sadler with Soon to Be Absorbed out of Manchester, UK. It's a totally different direction here, more of a kind of singer-songwriter, but also like very prog metal inspired. And he is also known for working with Spires. And, I listened to some of this, and I was pretty impressed. So I was kind of glad that, I believe this is one that Paul himself reached out directly to share. Guitar work is excellent if you love any sort of progressive metal, really. Especially things like Opeth. You're going to dig this release. In fact, I'm actually working, spoiler, I'm not sure if it'll be out by the time that this video goes up, but I'm working on a bands like Opeth list. That one's actually finished, but I totally would have put Paul on there. But I already had so many other bands I wanted to include. But yeah, definitely heavy Opeth vibes on here, but lots of other stuff too. I haven't really listened to Spires, so I'll have to check that out, because I'm really enjoying what he does on this album. From the more chill parts like this to the kind of heavier, more traditional progressive metal elements. Yeah, this is just like pure, like My Arms, Your Hearse, still life kind of sounding stuff here. Beautiful voice. Props to you, Paul. You got some pipes, man. Good stuff. Also, I'd say if you like Isan, a little bit of that too. Like Isan's kind of more chill stuff. And yeah, some albums just like, for this format of me just jumping around like this, it doesn't fully do it justice. But again, this is all about just like getting you just interested enough to go out and check this out on your own. So yeah, if this sounds interesting to you, check out Paul Sadler with Soon to Be Absorbed. Alright, then we've got Cratolus with The Practice of Burial. This is a Colorado band, 5-piece death metal. Oh yeah, just super raw, aggressive stuff here. That kind of like second wave black metal production, really. Just ugly, raw, and intense. the definition of underground. Like, I love when we get to mix some of these in on these videos, because this is what it's all about, man. Just getting the grimiest, most underground stuff we can find that other people might otherwise miss, overlook, what have you. Just ugly, brutal album art too to fit the music. Album titles in line with kind of early Cannibal Corpse. What else we got?
I think we've had enough of your jokes. What do you get? I don't think so.
Little samples in the beginning. That was De Niro. Was that what was that movie where he goes to the therapist? With Billy Crystal? I haven't seen him in a while. But yeah, if you just want some ugly, decrepit, raw death metal, then it seems like Cratolus will definitely be the band for you. Like those kind of blackened tremolo lines too. So yeah, Cratolus, The Practice of Burial. Give them a listen. Alright, more death metal. We've got Profanity with Fragments of Solace. Been following these guys for a while. I considered doing a full review of this because I really do enjoy their music quite a bit, but I just don't have the full time, and I wanted to make sure you check it out. I love this album art too. And yeah, this is a band out of Germany, and I really enjoyed their past releases. They have a pretty progressive slant on, like, it's like brutal death metal and like tech death, but the songwriting, as you can hear, kind of takes some pretty progressive and melodic turns. So I like the level of diversity that they put on display, and their performances are just unmatched. Like, the songwriting is really stellar, and they're just so fast and highly technical. Like, listen to that. Those guitars, man. But then they've got these just really intense, brutal vocals that are really no-nonsense, that should appeal to also those, like, Cannibal Corpse fans out there. Everything they do is just really fantastic. Yeah, maybe I should have taken the time for a full review, man. Every time I listen to a few seconds even of some of these tracks, I'm just like, ugh. Man, they deserve more than what I'm giving them here. But just trust me, like, go out, check out this album on Bandcamp. It's worth it. Absolutely. If you're not familiar with them already, like, you're going to want to add them to your follow list for sure. So they're just really intense and powerful, and kind of the whole spectrum of kind of what you can expect from different subgenres of death metal you'll get from Profanity. Yeah, I look forward to when I have time to dig into this a lot more than I am right now. Ooh, that bass too. Yeah, they have a great bass player as well. But all that said, Profanity, Fragments of Solace, don't miss it for sure. Alright, then we got Morpholith with Null Dimensions. This is out of Iceland. Love getting some music out of Iceland. They tend to deliver some pretty killer stuff. Got some like very ambient stuff going on here. Doom metal, aha. There we go. 13.5-minute track. This is a 2-track EP. As I'm recording this, it's the 4th, so the full thing is not out yet, but I wanted to make sure that it wasn't too many weeks out before you got to hear them. Love the atmosphere. It's very dark, oppressive. It fits the album art, too. It's this very kind of galactic, spacey sounding music. Vocals here kind of remind me of Monolord a little bit, if you're familiar with them. So we got a mix of clean vocals and harsh vocals, I believe. Guess they've been around. They had a live debut in 2017 as well that you can check out. Nice groove stuff. Ooh, a little pace change there. I like that. I love this whole aesthetic of their Bandcamp page. I like when they take the time to really like do the background and get the color theme to match everything with the green and black here. It makes for a really aesthetically pleasing page. It's fun to look at in addition to just delivering killer music. Seems like there's a number of movements in here too, which is really important to me when I'm listening to Doom, because as I've said like almost every episode, it's probably getting annoying. I'm not a huge Doom fan, But if you can get the songwriting just right and have, you know, some good dynamics and diversity and kind of take me on a journey, and you're not just repeating the same chord progression over and over again, then you got me. I'm definitely in for that. So good stuff. Morpholith, Null Divisions. Give them a listen if you love Doom. All right, another EP here. We've got Sunfall with Growing Pains, Go the Distance, out of Russia. Straight hardcore from Russia, Netherlands, Canada, and US, actually. That's what the description says here. Yeah, man, just... Ooh, yeah. Just that classic hardcore punk sound there. I'm such a sucker for gang vocals. Like, those are two things for me. Like, number one, if I ask people, like, what's the main thing I say the most in my reviews that suckers me in? It's D-beat. That's number one. And there it is. And then gang vocals is probably a close number two. I'm such a sucker for that. You will get me screaming along 100%. Hell yeah. You know what? There's a little bit of, like, Shai Hulud in here, too. This part in particular reminds me a lot of back in the day listening to some killer Shai Hulud albums. Fun fact, I feel like most people know this now, especially if you're in the kind of like hardcore scene, but Shai Hulud, the vocalist, if I'm getting this right, played or plays guitar for Newfound Glory. Random seeming thing, but you know, you gotta have your moneymaker and your passion project. Although Shai Hulud have had a few vocalists too, so I forget which one it is. Anyways, yeah, really digging this. As far as like classic hardcore, and I am a big punk fan too, like going all the way back to like Dead Kennedys and stuff. I have a special place in my heart for all that, and pop punk as well, like, to be honest. I know that can be like a bad word, but I do love me some like MXPX and, you know, old Blink-182, all that stuff. Yeah, this is good. This is really good. It's catchy, great D-beat, lots of energy, vocals are solid. Definitely see myself screaming along to this, so I'll be interested to hear more from Sunfall. So definitely check out Growing Pains, Go the Distance if you just want to have a good time and smile for once. I have so much like negative, just dreary music on here, so it's a nice break. Thank you, Sunfall, for that. All right, Stagwounder with Abhold. It's another German project of Heidelberg. 4 songs. Interesting album cover. It's kind of like collage style, like little cutouts. Or at least the Reaper guy looks like a cutout. I don't know if that's actually the case or if it's just painted to look like that. Like in this kind of like old school death metal. We also got black metal tags here. Definitely more death metal riffage though. Heck yeah. Nice little melodies here. I like those like discordant, kind of ugly sounding high-pitched guitars in the background. Cool band photo too. I will say I love the live band photos a lot more than just the standing in front of a wall photo. They both have their cliches, but I feel like, again, I get a better sense of what their energy's like by seeing a live photo than just seeing them standing in a row. You can have fun with it though. I like when bands don't take themselves too seriously. Like Within Destruction does like the squatting Slav photos and stuff. little like melodic black metal in here kind of too. Dissection. Yeah, this is cool. It's kind of different too. Like all elements I've heard before, but executed in kind of a slightly different way. Just like those subtle differences. Like those winding kind of death spell sounding guitars there. Ooh, nice little solo. Nice little bass groove underlying the whole thing as a foundation. Yeah, these guitars sound really good. A little bit of like even a twist of Opeth in these guitars. Yeah, all 4 of these songs sound like they're worth your attention for sure. A little bit of a doomy vibe on some parts too. So good dynamics. I dig. I dig, okay. Cool stuff, yeah. So that is Stagwounder, Abhold. Give them a listen as well. Alright, then we've got Respire, which is one I've been sitting on for a while, considered for a full review again, just didn't have the time. They're out of Toronto, Ontario. Kind of a post-blacky sort of group. What tags are they? Yeah, shoegaze, hardcore, baroque, blackened, all sorts of tags here for you to enjoy. Now here's a cool band photo. Again, has its own cliches, but I dig it. Album art's interesting too, just this kind of flowing color thing. But yeah, if you dig stuff like Deaf Heaven, I did a review of Deluge a couple weeks or months back. I guess it was just a couple weeks at this point that I'm recording this anyways. Also, Vatnet Viscar before they transitioned their sound. So yeah, that mix of kind of post-hardcore with black metal and hardcore. Very pretty. Yeah, and again, very dynamic type stuff. I feel like post-black has become the like new redheaded stepchild of metal, the way people used to mock like new metal and metalcore if you were like too extreme. Like now hipster black metal is the new the new one, but I keep an open mind. I think all of that elitism is stupid, and good music is good music. I don't care what approach you take to it. And as far as what Respire is putting out there, I really think it's great. It's good stuff. And again, another release that, ooh, nice strings on here, that I'm hoping to dig into a lot deeper when I'm not so overloaded. And with it being December now and not as many kind of big new releases that are on my list, maybe I'll have time to do that. Heck yeah. Yeah, lots of just ups and downs with this. So yeah, check out Respire. Do yourself a favor, especially if you like post-black. But even if you haven't really dabbled in it, you want a place to start, I'd say this is as good a place as any. Alright, then we've got Fuming Mouth with Beyond the Tomb out of Massachusetts. Another 3-song EP here. This was one that I got the press release for, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do a full review on a 3-song EP for this, but I just love the intensity, I love the energy, just that HM2 death metal with the D beats. Got that classic kind of entombed font too. Like clearly across the board, these guys love themselves some Entombed. They've got some hardcore tagged here too. But just aggressive, grinding, that HM2 distortion that we all know and love. It can get old sometimes, but I still have a special place in my heart for it. Like, it never truly gets old. I can listen to it too much, but I always come back to it. Vocals sound great, production sounds great. I'm interested to hear more from these guys. I know they've got a few other releases. See, they have one here too with I forget actually it might be the same artist on both of these. Do they have cover art by Lewandowski? Yes. I've seen his cover art in a few places, and it's always stunning. I've seen him do a lot of like doom metal art. Speaking of which, we got a very doom metal track here. Yeah, good stuff. Like, again, another reason I didn't do a full review is that it's like, I don't have too much to say about this style of music, other than I love it. Like, it's fun, it's intense. As far as enjoyability goes, for my 3 scales, that's always a 10. So yeah, check out Fuming Mouth, Beyond the Tomb. It won't be the most original thing you'll hear this year, but it'll definitely get you moving. Alright, this was a late request, actually, that a friend of mine recommended. He described them as hardcore vocals over Slayer riffs. And that is a great description. Also some like Exodus in there, so a little bit of like crossover thrash vibes. They're out of Santa Cruz, California. This is Drain with California Cursed. And totally dig it. So yeah, this was a request from Alex from Grind of the Dead, who are gearing up for their latest release too, which I imagine will end up on one of these episodes, if not a full review. We'll see. We'll see how things go with timing. But yeah, expect that in 2021. Looking forward to that. But as far as these guys go, just killer. Killer, hardcore. Ooh, that bass. Hell yeah. Yeah, man, I just found out about them yesterday. And so I haven't had, you know, the real time to really dig into this, but everything I've heard so far is just great. Love that very classic era looking album art too. Very 90s looking. Ooh, nice little drum intro there, like that. Those little hi-hat rolls. And big intro. Pounding the drums across the board sound great. And then they've got those kind of knocked loose, barky vocals that I've come to appreciate more and more. The arf arf, putting the arf arf in it. A little bit, they got some interludes on here too to step up the dynamics. I'll be interested how it all kind of flows together. But yeah, that should wet your whistle to check these guys out more. That's Drain with California Cursed. Check them out. Alright, y'all, that's it for today. Let me know, as always, down in the comments which one was your favorite, which one did you end up going to check out, which one did you end up buying. I love hearing about that as well. And also, if you have ideas of other bands that I should check out, let me know those as well. I've got a whole playlist of this series. Really want to get a regular viewership because the ultimate goal of this channel really is to get people listening to stuff that they wouldn't normally check, things that are outside of their comfort zone, things that they normally would have missed. And so this series is kind of like the biggest part of that. Do anything you can to promote these talented artists because they deserve so much more credit than they get. I'll leave a link to the playlist for the entire series in the comments for you to check out. And again, please do subscribe if you have not already. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.